What's up, y'all? It's your boy KennyCaptures coming through with history through my lens. Coming through with episode 2 today, before Brooklyn was ever existed. Y'all probably saying like, this is Cherry Hill. It's not even Brooklyn. But wait, let me take it back for y'all. I gotta take y'all back into history. You gotta go back before there was roads and railroads, there's neighborhoods, even people. The landscape was being shaped by forces far greater than anyone can imagine. Around 20,000 years ago, North America was in the grip of its last ice age. Massive glaciers, some more than a mile thick, covered much of what is now Canada and extended into the northern United States. Although those glaciers never reached present-day Baltimore, they transformed the entire region. As the climate slowly warmed, the ice began to melt. Over thousands of years, enormous volumes of melted water rushed through the south, through ancient river valleys, covering streams, reshaping hills, carrying sediment towards the Atlantic Ocean. Sea levels gradually rose. One of the most dramatic changes happened right here in the mid-Atlantic. This rise in the Atlantic flooded the ancient Susquehanna River Valley, creating what we know as the Chesapeake Bay, one of the largest estuaries on Earth. I forgot to mention Curtis Creek was home to the Indigenous peoples as well. Patapsco River and Curtis Creek. Thousands of years has passed. Towering oak, hickory, topolar, beech, maple, pine trees, forests stretched across the land. Freshwater streams flowed into tidal rivers, marsh grasses swayed the changing tides, beavers built dams through creeks, white-tailed deer roamed the forest, black bears searching for berries. Wild turkeys wandered beneath the trees, bald eagles covered over the head. Below the surface, enormous reefs filled with waters of the Chesapeake Bay, sturgeon, shad, striped bass, perch, and herring migrated through the Patapsco River, while blue crabs, diamondback terrapins thrived in its tidal marshes. Every season has brought new life. Spring filled the rivers with spawning fish. Summer transformed the wetlands into thriving nurseries for birds and wildlife. Autumn painted the forests in brilliant shades of red and orange and gold. Winter quieted the shoreline beneath the frost. This was a world untouched by cities, untouched by factories, untouched by highways. The only sounds were wind through the trees, birds calling overhead, and the water gently meeting the shoreline. Around 13,000 years ago, the first known people entered what is now known as Maryland. They did not discover an empty wilderness. They entered a land already shaped by thousands of years of natural history. Archaeologists uncovered stones, spear points, scrapers, campsites, and tools across Maryland, revealing that people lived here thousands of years before written history. These early inhabitants were hunters and gatherers. They followed migrating animals, they fished rivers, gathered nuts, berries, and edible plants. Their lives followed the rhythm of the seasons. Knowledge wasn't written in books, it was carried in memory. Parents taught children, elders taught hunters. Every generation passed along the wisdom they needed to survive. They learned which plants healed illnesses, which trees made the strongest canoes, where fish returned every spring, where oysters were most abundant. They understood something many people still recognize today. To survive, you had to live with the land and not against it. As thousands of years passed, communities became villages, villages became nations. Trade routes connected hundreds of miles of rivers through the Chesapeake Bay long before roads. The waterways were highways. Dugout canoes carried families, hunters, traders, messengers from village to village. Goods moved across the region. Two indigenous groups were in play an especially important role in Brooklyn's history surrounding this present day. To the north lived the Susquehannock. Let me know if I'm saying this right, y'all. Susquehannock skilled hunters, powerful traders, field warders. They built large fortified towns surrounded by towering wooden palisades and controlled important trade routes along the Susquehannock River. To the south lived the Piscataway and Algonquin speaking people whose villages lined the river southern of Maryland. They farmed corn, beans, and splashed the Three Sisters. They hunted deer, caught fish, harvested oysters, and traveled the Chesapeake in dugout canoes. Sometimes the nations traded peacefully. At other times they competed over hunting grounds and influence. But they both understood one simple truth: the Chesapeake Bay was life. Its forests sheltered their communities long before Brooklyn existed. These rivers carried thousands of human history. Everything begins to change in the summer of 1608. An English explorer named Captain John Smith entered the Chesapeake Bay. He wasn't searching for Brooklyn. He was mapping many rivers, documenting communities, and exploring the region for the English. During his voyage, he entered the Patapsco River. He described the fertile forests, clean waterways, abundant wildlife, thriving indigenous communities. His maps became some of the earliest European records of this region. For the indigenous communities, the newcomers brought unfamiliar sights: large wooden ships, iron tools, metal armor, firearms. At first, many encounters centered on trade. Native American communities exchanged food, animal furs, and local knowledge. In return, they received metal axes, knives, kettles, beads, and other goods. But Europeans also brought something invisible: diseases such as smallpox, measles, and influenza spread rapidly through indigenous communities. With no previous exposure to these illnesses, many Native American people had led to natural immunity. Entire villages suffered devastating losses. The Chesapeake would never be the same. Long live the indigenous people. As English settlement spread across Maryland's land surrounding the Patapsco would begin changing forever. Large estates would be surveyed, large patents would be granted, roads would slowly replace canoes routes. The quiet shoreline that had existed for thousands of years will eventually become Baltimore's oldest communities. In our next episode, we'll uncover who the first was to claim the land that became Brooklyn, how ownership changed over colonial periods, and how those early land grants laid the foundation for the neighborhood we know today. I'm KennyCaptures, and this is the complete history of Brooklyn. Tune in next time for a history through my lens. Thank you. Oh yeah, and I'm not a historian. I just want to do this for fun. I'm a local photographer coming up in Baltimore. So I'm still learning with y'all guys. So if y'all got any questions for me, questions about my work, any facts, any more facts, any information, throw it right at me, please.